cold this morning. All right, folks. Well, this is where we're going to start. We're going to take you through all the steps that made this a successful bow hunt this morning. This right here is a clover and wheat and rye field, and we're going to start right here. You can see the wheat and the rye and the clover is just coming up. We just planted this about 3 or 4 weeks ago. But this is an afternoon stand and a morning stand. We happen to get the deer in the morning, but I'm going to show you how all the scouting pays, whether it's a morning or afternoon stand. Now, we're going to move right here, and we're going to go over here in the hardwood bottom. I'm going to show you some white oak acorns and some border fences. That's what's helped me in my scouting and made me lucky this morning on getting this deer. All right, let's go over here, and let's continue our scouting. All right, now I'm leaving our clover field, and now I'm entering our hardwoods right here, and you can see this ridge drops off pretty steep. And the next part of my scouting is I'm going to be looking for acorns. And this time of the year, I'm looking for the white oak acorns. That's what the deer prefer the most, and when they're dropping, they're going to go to those first. All right, let's see if we can ease down here. Also, we got some dogwoods. They love to eat on dogwood leaves. And when we get down here, we got a border fence down here. That'll be our next. But let's show you what a white oak acorn looks like, because all this is going to fit into this puzzle. As I've been making my way down to my white oak trees, this even gives me even more confidence. You know, finding a fresh buck row. And you can tell this deer right here has been hitting this tree pretty good. So I know there's deer in the area, but when you get this sign, you know bucks are in the area. But with a bow and arrow, in Alabama, you can take a doe with a bow and arrow or a buck. So this is right here in the middle of these white oaks. Come on down here and let me show you what a white oak tree looks like and what the acorn looks like also. All right, let's see if we can find us some white oak acorns right under this tree right here. Here's some right here. All right, that's what I'm looking for. See how big the acorn is? And white oaks are pretty much predominant all over the United States. But, you know, if you don't have these, be looking for the other, the water, the willow oak. Find out from your local biologist, you know, what acorns are dropping and what times they're dropping. And like this particular tree right here, it's dropping this year, but it might not drop next year. So you have to change your stand locations depending on when your acorns are dropping. Also, the leaf has rounded lobes, so be looking for that. This is a size acorn. But if you do have white oaks, the whitetails will go to these first when they're dropping. They have less tannic acid in them. That means they're a lot sweeter than the other acorns. All right, come on, let's look at what a white oak looks like. The most distinguishing characteristic of a white oak is its whitish, grayish bark. It's kind of scaly, kind of peels off. See that? That's what a white oak acorn tree looks like. And that's what I'm always looking for first in the early part of bow season. Okay, now let's go to the other piece of the puzzle, and that's finding fences. When you have fences on your property that you're hunting, that is one of the most distinguishing characteristics on finding sign, because this is going to tell you where the deer are coming from and where they're going. Let's go see if we can find a fence over here. We're looking for hair on the fence. All right, this is our next piece of our scouting puzzle, and that's fences. As you can see right here, I have two fences. The old rusty fence in the back is the old hog wire fence. You can see how it's all crisscrossed with the wire, makes it almost impossible for the deer to come through it. This right here is a brand new fence they put up, and as you can see, it's almost impossible for the deer to come through it. So what I'm looking for, as you'll see right up here, is I'm looking for a big hole in the fence so the deer can come to and from the area I'm hunting. Come on, if you'll follow me, we'll show you what I found. And this led to everything, where I put my tree stand, the whole 9 yards. But if you'll walk your fences, and I did this, I walked all the way down, all the way to the end of this fence, I walked all the way back up the fence, and I'm always looking for holes in the fence or hair in the fence. Okay. Now this is what I found right here. You can see this. This is a tremendous hole through this fence, thanks to this tree falling right here. And as you can see, on the other side of this tree right here, the fence picks right back up and there's no more holes in the fence. So this gives me a great clue right here with the trail coming through here. And if you'll come with me right here, I'll show you the briars. So they can stay in this thicket right here. It's very thick, and they don't have to be out in the open at all. They can come right down this trail right here, and they can come right through these briars. It's almost like a tunnel of briars, and that's what whitetail bucks love especially. They can stay in these thickets. They can walk all times of the day. Do you see this right here? All right, what we'll do is we'll go get on the other side of this because I can't crawl through it. It's so thick, and we're going to show you where I put my tree stand. Ooh, ow. Boy, these briars on this tunnel, they'll get you. We call these whoa here briars in the South. That means when one gets you, you whoa right here. Ow. All right. Y'all know what I'm talking about if you've been stuck by the briars. But this is what deer love to travel through. All right. Now, here's another piece of this puzzle. All right. This is a major trail that's running on the edge of this clear cut right here that's coming out of the hardwoods, which were where the white oaks were. Okay? This trail borders right here and intersects the trail coming from the hole in the fence right here. That's what I'm looking for. So when I can find two major trails intersecting, then I look for the perfect tree. All right? Now we're going to take a look at our tree right up here. And this is a white oak tree that's about 20 yards from the intersecting trails. I'm counting on my shot being either right here as the buck's coming from the hardwoods, or I'm expecting it to be right here, the deer coming through the fence. So I've set my tree stand up right here that I can get a 20-yard shot on either trail. So let's take a look at the tree right here. All right, this happens to be a white oak tree also. But if you'll go up the tree right there, and you can see, you'll see two of our tree stands. The lowest one is mine, and the one right above mine is my cameraman, Pat. You'll also notice how I leave some of the limbs up in front of the stands. That gives you plenty of cover. You'll also notice another tree right in front of the stands right there. Now that helps me in many ways. If I'm anticipating the deer coming from the hardwoods, I can see the deer coming. It gives me a chance to stand up. It also gives me a chance to draw my bow so the deer won't see you. Now you think about it. You can see the deer walking. Well, they can also see you moving. And there's an old myth that deer don't look up. Well, that's false, because deer do look up. They look up all the time. All right, so I found what I call the perfect tree. Okay, we got our steps up. We're 25, 30 feet up. All right, I don't mind getting up that high. If you don't like getting up that high, don't do it. Other thing is, I always put on my safety belt. Once I get in that tree stand, I always put on my safety belt. That's one of the most important safety tips there is. Always put your safety belt on. Okay, now if I forgot to tell you this concerning the fences over there, let me go back over that. A lot of times you might not have a tree that falls down over the fence, but look for hair on the fence when you're scouting. Okay? Look on the barbs. You're going to see the back hair of a whitetail, which is brown. Take that hair off, come back a couple of days. If there's hair on the fence, you know that's a major trail where they're coming under the fence. Okay, now, before I go hunting, this morning we stopped and got some gas. I always put on an odor repellent. All right, I cover myself, I cover my cameraman, because, you know, it's different out there. We've got two people out there, so we got double the scent, double the movement. All right, as far as the cover scent, I'm using the Red Fox. All right, and that covers my scent. I put this on my boots. I also put a little bit on the brim of my hat and on my shoulders, because where your scent is escaping is around your head and under your arms and where your feet are. So I take care of that. All right, now that's a lot of pieces of the puzzle right there. That's all the scouting we did, and that to me is the most fun, because you're out here trying to trick the deer. You're trying to figure out where they are and where they're going to come. All right, another important point is the wind direction. Probably of all the pieces of the puzzle, this is the most important. Okay, north is this way, south is this way, okay, west and east. I will not hunt this stand on a south southeast, southwest wind, because that's going to be blowing back in the bedding area where I think the deer are coming from. I will hunt this stand on a north or northwest wind. And the first thing I do in the morning is I get up and I look at the radar on the weather channel, and it tells me which way the wind is blowing. That'll dictate to me which stand I'm going to hunt this morning, okay? Happened to be north-northwest wind, I came to this spot. And as it worked out, as you'll see, we got a nice buck, and it was because we put all the pieces of the puzzle together.
Soon after daylight, a small buck appears just across the briars on the trail that crosses the fence. Another small buck makes his way down the trail that goes right by the tree stands. An encouraging sign for Jackie. The deer were doing exactly what he thought they would do after scouting the area. A doe comes in, right under the fence where the fallen tree created the gap. Another small buck appears on the same trail as the doe. A lot of deer this morning, but so far nothing large enough for Jackie to take today. With perfect wind conditions, all the deer in the area feed normally, totally unaware of Jackie's presence. Then to Jackie's left, a nice 6-point buck appears, coming down the trail that should provide a clear 20-yard shot. Though the camera doesn't have a clear shot at the buck, Jackie does, and he makes one good shot.
Look at this deer right here. Ah, oh, what a deer. Huh. I'll tell you what, folks, y'all been watching us for 4 or 5 years now, and you know how frustrating it is as far as us getting deer with a bow and arrow. I've had my bad luck, I know that, but this is a great deer, and it worked the first morning, but it all paid off because of my scouting. And we walked you through everything that happened, and everything was perfect. But you take one of those pieces out of that puzzle, and this deer might not have been mine this morning. But I found out where the white oak acorns were. I walked my border fences and found where the deer were coming across. I found the perfect tree. I found all my trails that were intersecting. I placed my tree stand up, anticipating the shot where I'd be able to draw it back. I also had the tree and the cover in front of me that would give me cover when the deer walked by, that I could pull back and he couldn't see me. Also, I hunted this stand on a north and northwest wind, which was perfect. And all of these pieces right there, they all went together, and this is the end result. A nice 6-point buck with a bow and arrow. Well, it's been a lot of fun. I tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go back to the hunting camp and get my four-wheeler. That'll make it a lot easier to get this buck out of here, and I got some guys back at the camp I know they'll be glad to help me. But that's the end result. A nice 6-point buck, and the scouting paid off. Let me get on back to camp and get the four-wheeler.